The silent guardian, the Kepler asteroid belt, had always been humanity's lifeline. Floating in the void between Mars and Jupiter, these rocky fragments contained enough rare metals to power Earth's expansion for centuries. Commander Sarah Chun stood in the observation deck of mining station Omega-7, watching the automated harvesters tear into asteroid KE-2847. The massive machines worked tirelessly, their plasma cutters carving through rock like hot knives through butter. Sarah had been running mining operations for 12 years, but she had never seen anything like this. The Vextar Consortium had arrived 3 days ago with a fleet of 47 warships, each one bristling with weapons designed to crack planets. Their message was simple: surrender the mining rights or face annihilation. The problem was that 50,000 human miners lived and worked in the Kepler belt. These weren't soldiers or trained combatants. They were engineers, technicians, and laborers who had come here to build a better life for their families. Most had never seen a weapon more dangerous than a plasma cutter. Sarah's communication officer, Lieutenant Torres, approached with a grim expression. His normally steady hands shook as he handed her the latest transmission from the Vextar fleet. The alien script was translated into cold, clinical English that made Sarah's blood run cold. "Commander, they're demanding we evacuate all personnel within 24 hours. After that, they'll consider any remaining humans to be hostile combatants." Torres paused, his voice cracking slightly. "They're not bluffing. Our long-range sensors show they're charging their main weapons." Sarah crushed the data pad in her hand. The Vextar were a corporate consortium, not a military force. They dealt in contracts and profit margins, not genocide. But the rare metals in the Kepler belt were worth more than the gross domestic product of most star systems. To them, 50,000 human lives were just an acceptable business expense. Station's defense grid consisted of 12 automated turrets and a handful of mining ships retrofitted with basic weapons. Against a single Vextar cruiser, they might last 10 minutes. Against 47 warships, they would be vaporized in seconds. "What's the status on the evacuation?" Sarah asked, though she already knew the answer would be devastating. "We have transport capacity for maybe 8,000 people. The rest..." Torres didn't need to finish. The math was brutal and unforgiving. 42,000 people would die because there simply wasn't enough room on the escape pods. Sarah walked to the main communication console and opened a channel to the entire mining operation. Throughout the belt, 50,000 faces looked up at screens showing their commander. Some were afraid, others angry, but all of them were looking to her for answers she didn't have. "Citizens of the Kepler mining operation," she began, her voice steady despite the terror in her heart. "I won't lie to you about our situation. The Vextar Consortium wants our mining rights, and they're willing to kill us to get them. We don't have enough ships to evacuate everyone." A murmur of panic rippled through the communication network. Sarah raised her hand for silence. "But we're not giving up. We're human beings, and we don't abandon our own. Every person who wants to stay and fight is welcome to do so. Every person who wants to try to escape is welcome to do that too. We'll hold them off as long as we can." The response was immediate and overwhelming. Miners began volunteering for combat duty. Engineers started working on improvised weapons. Even the children asked how they could help. This was humanity at its finest. Ordinary people becoming extraordinary when faced with impossible odds. As the hours ticked by, Sarah found herself thinking about her daughter back on Earth. Emma was only 7 years old, but she already talked about following in her mother's footsteps. Sarah had always told her that sometimes doing the right thing meant taking risks. Now she wondered if she would live long enough to see her daughter grow up. The first sign of trouble came from the outer sensor network. A massive energy signature. had appeared at the edge of the system, moving fast toward the Kepler belt. Sarah's tactical officer, Commander Walsh, was staring at his screen with confusion. "Commander, I'm reading an unidentified vessel approaching from the outer system. It's not Vextar, and it's not in our registry database." Sarah moved to the tactical display. The ship was sleek and black, with angular lines that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Its energy signature was unlike anything she had ever seen, not the crude fusion drives of most human ships, nor the exotic matter engines of the Vextar. "Try to hail them," Sarah ordered. Torres worked his console frantically, but there was no response. The mysterious ship continued its approach, ignoring all attempts at communication. On the tactical display, Sarah could see the Vextar fleet beginning to move. They had detected the unknown vessel and were taking defensive positions. "Commander," Walsh called out, his voice tight with excitement, "I'm reading the ship's transponder. It's human. Designation Terra's Wrath, but there's no record of any human ship with that name." Sarah felt her heart skip a beat. Human ship with technology that advanced? It was impossible. Humanity's most advanced warships were still decades behind Vextar technology. But as she watched the sleek vessel approach, she began to hope that the unknown ship dropped out of hyperspace, directly between the mining stations and the Vextar fleet. It was small compared to the alien warships, maybe a tenth their size, but something about it radiated menace. Sarah had seen enough battles to recognize a predator when she saw one. "This is Commander Sarah Chun of Mining Station Omega 7. She broadcast on all frequencies. Unknown human vessel. Please respond. We are under attack by the Vextar Consortium and require immediate assistance." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then a voice crackled through the communication system. It was human, but there was something cold and distant about it. "This is Captain Rivera of the Terra's Wrath. All civilian vessels move to minimum safe distance. We'll handle this." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. The voice was familiar, but she couldn't place it. More importantly, how could one ship possibly handle 47 Vextar warships? The answer came 60 seconds later. The Terra's Wrath opened fire with weapons that defied every law of physics Sarah knew. Beams of pure energy lanced out from the ship, each one striking a Vextar vessel with surgical precision. But these weren't normal energy weapons. Instead of explosions, the alien ship simply disappeared. Sarah watched in amazement as the impossible battle unfolded. The Vextar fleet was one of the most powerful corporate military forces in the galaxy. Their ships were equipped with shields that could deflect nuclear weapons and armor that could withstand the heat of a star's core. But against the Terra's Wrath, they might as well have been made of paper. "My God," Walsh whispered. "What is that thing?" Sarah didn't have an answer. She could only watch as the mysterious human ship carved through the Vextar fleet like a scythe. Through wheat. The alien vessels tried to fight back, launching volleys of missiles and energy weapons. But their attacks simply passed through the Terra's Wrath as if it wasn't their dot. Within 4 minutes, it was over. 47 Vextar warships had been reduced to drifting wreckage. The Terra's Wrath floated in the center of the destruction, untouched and undamaged. On the mining stations, 50,000 people stared at their screens in stunned silence. "This is Captain Rivera," the voice crackled through the communication system again. "The immediate threat has been neutralized. We're standing by for further instructions." Sarah found her voice. "Captain Rivera, I don't know how to thank you. You saved 50,000 lives today. Just doing my job, Commander. The real war is just beginning." The reckoning, the aftermath of the battle, left the Kepler mining operation in eerie silence. Debris from 47 Vextar warships drifted through the asteroid belt like a metallic snowfall. Commander Sarah Chun stood in the observation deck, trying to process what she had witnessed. 4 minutes. That's how long it had taken for one human ship to destroy an entire fleet. Commander, Lieutenant Torres, called from the communication station. The Terra's Wrath is requesting permission. To dock, Sarah hesitated. The ship that had saved them was clearly human, but it used technology that shouldn't exist. More troubling was the captain's voice, familiar but impossible to place. Still, they owed their lives to whoever was aboard that vessel. Grant them docking permission at Bay 7, she decided. And Torres, I want a full security detail there. Friendly or not, we need to know what we're dealing with. 20 minutes later, Sarah stood in the docking bay as the Terra's Wrath settled into its berth. Up close, the ship was even more impressive. Its hull was composed of some kind of adaptive material that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. There were no visible weapons ports, yet she had watched it destroy an entire fleet. The airlock hissed open, and a figure emerged that made Sarah's blood run cold. Captain Marcus Rivera had been declared dead 10 years ago after his ship, Hughes Defiant, was destroyed in a battle with alien pirates. She had served under him as a junior officer and had attended his memorial service. But there he stood, unchanged by time, wearing a uniform she didn't recognize. His dark hair showed no gray, and his face bore the same scars she remembered from their service together. Behind him came a crew of 6 others, all wearing the same strange uniforms. "Hello, Sarah," Marcus said, his voice carrying the same warmth she remembered. "It's been a long time." "You're supposed to be dead," Sarah replied, her hand instinctively moving toward her sidearm. "I was at your funeral." Marcus smiled, but there was sadness in his eyes. "I was dead, in a way. Marcus Rivera, Earth Navy officer, died in that battle. What survived was something else entirely." Sarah's security team tensed, but Marcus made no threatening moves. Instead, he gestured to his ship with obvious pride. "The Terra's Wrath is the result of something called the Ghost Protocol. When my ship was destroyed, I was recovered by a classified Earth Navy research division. They gave me a choice: stay dead or serve humanity in ways that officially don't exist." "What are you talking about?" Sarah demanded. "For the past 10 years, I've been testing experimental technology recovered from alien battlefields. The Terra's Wrath isn't just a ship. It's a weapon system designed to level the playing field between humans and the more advanced species in this galaxy." Marcus activated a holographic display that showed the internal structure of his ship. Sarah gasped as she saw technology that was decades ahead of anything Earth had developed. The power core alone was the size of a small building, and the weapon systems were completely alien in design. "We've been taking apart every piece of alien technology we can get our hands on," Marcus continued. "Reverse engineering, improving, adapting. Humanity may be new to this galaxy, but we're fast learners." Sarah studied the display, her mind racing. How many ships like this exist? That's classified. But let's just say the Terra's Wrath isn't alone out here. One of Marcus's crew members, a woman with lieutenant's stripes, stepped forward. "Commander Chun, we need to discuss the situation. The Vextar Consortium won't ignore the destruction of their fleet. They'll escalate this into a full-scale war." Sarah felt her heart sink. 50,000 miners against the entire Vextar military? "We can't possibly survive that." "You won't have to," Marcus said. "This was always going to happen eventually. Humanity has been playing defense for too long, trying to find our place in a galaxy that sees us as primitives. But we're not primitives anymore." He gestured to another crew member who activated a galaxy-wide communication array. Suddenly, the docking bay filled with holographic displays showing star systems throughout human space. Each one showed multiple unidentified ships dropping out of hyperspace. Ghost Protocol vessels are taking positions throughout human territory, Marcus explained. For years, we've been preparing for the day when we would have to reveal ourselves. The Vextar attack on civilian miners was the perfect excuse. Sarah watched the displays in amazement. Dozens of ships, like the Terra's Wrath, were appearing throughout human space, each one taking defensive positions around colonies and trade routes. They were sleek, deadly, and completely unknown to the galactic community. "How long have you been planning this?" she asked. "Since the first time an alien species tried to enslave human colonists," Marcus replied. "Earth's government realized we needed an ace in the hole, something that would make the galaxy think twice before attacking us." A new alarm sounded throughout. The mining station. Commander Walsh's voice echoed through the docking bay. "Commander Chun, please report to the tactical center immediately. We are receiving multiple hyperspace signatures approaching the system." Sarah and Marcus rushed to the tactical center, where Walsh was staring at his displays with a mixture of fear and excitement. "Commander, we've got company. I'm reading. Over 200 ships dropping out of hyperspace. They're flying Vextar identification codes. The entire consortium fleet," Marcus said grimly. "They're not taking any chances this time." Sarah felt her knees go weak. 200 warships against one experimental human vessel and a mining operation. Even with the Terra's Wrath's advanced technology, the odds were impossible. But Marcus was smiling. "Actually, this is perfect. Sarah, I need you to broadcast a message to the entire Kepler mining operation. Tell them to prepare for the show of their lives." "What are you planning?" "Humanity's coming out party." Marcus activated his ship's communication system and broadcast. "On all frequencies, attention Vextar Consortium fleet. This is Captain Rivera of the Terra's Wrath. You are trespassing in human territory and threatening human civilians. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences." The response came from the lead Vextar dreadnought. "Human vessel, you destroyed our mining fleet. Surrender immediately, or we will reduce this entire system to rubble." Marcus's smile widened. "I was hoping you'd say that. All Ghost Protocol vessels, this is Terra's Wrath. Execute Order 7. Sarah watched in amazement as space around the Kepler belt began to shimmer. One by one, human ships began to appear, dropping their cloaking fields and revealing themselves. They were all similar to the Terra's Wrath, sleek, deadly, and completely unknown to the galaxy. Within minutes, 50 Ghost Protocol vessels had surrounded the Vextar fleet. The aliens found themselves outnumbered and outgunned by ships that officially didn't exist. "This is Admiral Karthok of the Vextar Consortium," came a panicked transmission. "Who are you? What do you want?" Marcus responded calmly. "We're humanity's insurance policy. For years, you've attacked our colonies, enslaved our people, and treated us like primitives. That ends today. You're threatening war with the entire galaxy," the alien admiral protested. "No," Marcus replied. "We're ending a war that's been going on for decades. The difference is, now we're fighting back." Sarah watched as the Ghost Protocol fleet began to move into attack formation. These weren't the desperate defense ships of the mining operation. These were predators, designed specifically to hunt and kill alien warships. "This is your final warning," Marcus broadcast. "Withdraw from human space immediately. Take word back to your government that humanity is no longer prey. We have teeth now, and we're not afraid to use them." The Vextar fleet began to withdraw. But Sarah knew this was just the beginning. Word would spread throughout the galaxy that humanity had revealed advanced military technology. Some species would be impressed, others terrified, but all would have to recalculate their relationship with the human race. "What happens now?" Sarah asked. Marcus looked at her with the same confidence she remembered from their service days. "Now we show the galaxy what humans are really capable of. We've been hiding in the shadows for too long, pretending to be weak when we're actually stronger than anyone imagined. As the Ghost Protocol fleet faded back into space, Sarah realized that everything had changed. Humanity was no longer the new species, struggling to find its place in the galaxy. They were players now, with the power to defend themselves and their interests. The age of human weakness was over. The age of human strength had begun. This story explores themes of human ingenuity, hidden strength, and the transformation from victim to victor. It emphasizes how ordinary people can become extraordinary when faced with impossible odds, and how sometimes the greatest strength comes from unexpected places.